Hello and welcome to episode 5 of our Achtung Cthulhu campaign, the Karotechia Conundrum. I am Andy and I'm the handler. Let me start by introducing to my players. And this week I've asked them a question about their character, which is, who would miss your character the most if they never came back from a mission? So let's start, as we always do it, in rank order. Actually, should we, let's do it the reverse rank order. Let's start with the lowliest of the low. Poor Tom. Go on.
Hi, I'm Tom. I play Nikola Vujic, and the easiest answer, but probably a cop-out answer, would be his dog Kezia would miss him the most. But if you want a bit more of a serious answer, he's probably already considered dead by the rest of his family because Nikola escaped from Europe and hasn't been able to get in touch with his family.
Okay, that's interesting. And how much is he going to miss Kezia when I kill her? Sorry, when she dies in the game. Sorry.
Wow.
She dies accidentally. Oh yeah.
No,
And all
he's
companions are just. I mean,
going to be. Yeah, he's going to be heartbroken until he finds another dog to raise. So, but even then, he'll never forget Kezia because they've been together and through so much together.
Oh God, now you're making me feel guilty.
Right,
Yeah,
that was the idea.
Yes, I thought it might be. Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play Casamir Koslow, and it would be the people who miss Casamir the most, because it would be his tank crew that he was with through the entire Polish campaign. I mean, his family's already dead. They're the closest thing he's got to like a proper family right now, and it's fire forged bond fighting Germans all through the retreat. They made it to France, and then I transferred to a different unit, but they're all still there fighting, and if they'd be pretty sad if they found out that I bought it.
Now we haven't made those up yet, have we? Oh,
No.
I'm thinking. Sorry.
Oh no, my tank crew's gonna die. The boys.
Well, they would,
or they might reappear at some point.
Oh yeah, they might. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where we end up, if we end up back in Europe way.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they've been converted.
Or if they show up in England, like during with the Polish units that managed to retreat to England.
And then there are some Polish units, I believe, eventually in North Africa.
Yes, there are a few that do make it to North Africa, and in fact make it to Italy later on too.
Yeah. Anyway,
because they were one of the more fierce units during the Battle of Monte Cassino.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll come to that eventually. Right.
Yes.
Let's do Bruce next.
Hi, I'm Bruce. I'm playing Sergeant Sam Calloway. And to answer the question, it would be my mother would miss me the most.
I am not shocked that he's a mama's boy.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
No, I can't think of anything witty to say to that. It's
I was
true.
waiting. I was just giving you a chance. Right.
It's just true.
Right. Next we'll do B.
Hi, I'm B. I play Nellie Wyndham, second lieutenant. Nellie has a lot of friends, a lot of contacts that she's made during her journalistic career. But I think probably her family would miss her most. That's her mother, father, her sister, and brother. But even out of those, most likely to miss her, the absolute most, would be her father. Because she's a daddy's girl. And so Arthur Wyndham would miss her the most.
Okay.
Certainly.
And lastly, Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I am playing Lieutenant Archie Fanshawe. He a newly minted lieutenant in the British Army, Northumberland Fusiliers. As for who would miss Archie the most if he wasn't to make it back, the sensible answer probably is Clara, his sister. He has a youngest of 4 children, and Clara is the closest in age to him, and so she's who he probably grew up with the most. The other people that would miss him is all the people he owes money from the gambling sessions, drunken nights.
I like that a lot.
If I kill you, Englander, who will miss you? My dad hurts.
Right. That's lovely. Right.
It's really good.
Okay. That's for I'm just now. It's May 1940, and you'd finished your operation, your first mission into France, right on the Belgian border, to rescue a Frenchman who has a lot of esoteric knowledge and a library that may lead to some form of sorcery or something like that. And that your CO of Section M wanted him brought back, and he appears to be an old friend of certain members of Section M. He wanted him rescued so that he could start to build up the magical capabilities of Section M, because it's greatly feared that the German opposition, and you've found one symbol, units wearing one symbol, which is the wolf's claw symbol, and you've heard that the name Natchwolf, Night Wolves, and you've captured a member, well, someone who appears that he was in civilian clothing. So there was some debate whether he was actually a competent, and he's attempted to argue the rules of the Geneva Convention, if I'm rightly lost. It was, but he did, in his interrogation, mention or give away another name, which seems to be a name of some. I think it's a little unclear whether it's another organisation or Natchwolf is part of it or something, but the word Karotechia was mentioned. Okay, and you've still got various bits of. You've still got the opportunity to continue that interrogation if you wish. You also opened that cryptex and found the photograph inside it. Which where's that gone? That is, oh no, not that's the cryptic itself. It's in sorry.
It's under
Yeah, I've
handouts,
got it.
general information. Okay.
Did that make it pop up?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, let me just. So this is the photo that you found, which some of you have made some instant PC comments, but so instant player comments rather than character comments. But and written on the back of it was oh no, there again, and show players. 1938 Zazura and Orichalcum. And you did a bit of research on Zazura, and you've got another handout with a lot of information there. Yep. It's a fabled lost city or oasis somewhere in the Sahara Desert. Now, is there anything further you wanted to do with either that either the photo, those notes, possibly the cryptex, or this prisoner of war? Is there anything further you wanted to do, or am I okay to move time on a bit?
I think you're okay to move time on a bit.
I think
don't
so.
know about everyone else.
Okay.
Yep. I was actually just going to say, has anyone checked for any hidden writings? You know, like with the lemon juice and the heat from the light bulb, just in case.
It's hard to do that trick because it's actually a photograph. It's not a bit of paper. It's a rolled up photograph. But so it's hard to do the heat bit.
Oh, the reason I'm saying it is because he doesn't know any other way of doing invisible writing, but there is invisible ink around, so that's why he's saying the lemon juice idea.
Right. Um, uh,
Which incidentally is okay for temporary things, but if you're stashing something in a cryptex, especially a photograph, that's lemon juice is a poor choice. It's acidic and it will destroy the photograph over time.
but
Yeah,
okay,
but
but
let's say-
the point is valid. Is there something?
Oh
like-
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely.
right. Someone can roll me a cryptography check if they wish.
Probably
Photography.
not me.
Wow.
Me.
Where is it? What's that under?
I am deficient
it's
in. It's
academic.
under
Academics.
Under
academia.
academia.
Give it a shot, you know.
Yeah, why not?
But,
Is that under reason or
Uh,
insight?
it would be under insight, I think.
Yeah, I think for finding hidden writing, probably.
Ugh. Maybe I shouldn't have rolled.
Well, I'll take a point of threat. You, with that one though, that one success, you are fairly certain there's nothing further hidden on there. Okay.
I thought
Right.
Chris was rolling.
Sorry. Are you rolling as well,
I thought
Chris?
I wasn't going to. I'm not very good at it.
Oh, sorry. I thought.
Okay. No.
I
Okay.
I
thought
can,
you-
and I do have
rolled.
academia.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. I
Okay.
misheard.
Right. So then, you're not given time off, but you sort of go back into a sort of you spend the next about something like 6 weeks just doing training. You're given a little bit of time off so you can go and see family and friends for those of you that have them in this country and living, or you can go and explore the wonders of London and discover that if you have a foreign accent, it immediately arouses suspicion. And a Roma
thing I
and
speak-
a Pole are both going to be. There's a vague grasping of Poles, but the Roma definitely attracts some attention if you.
But I speak English with a Londoner accent.
Okay, then you are fine.
Yeah.
You may, however, if you go with Nikola, you may end up bailing Nikola out of a few.
Now, the other thing that Nicola may do is actually just try and get a hold of some people to see if they have any contacts over in like Egypt or so on, because I've got the ability to get contacts, but it's just like an RP thing. So it's like a friend of a friend type contact.
Okay. Right. I don't think there's a dice roll in that. I think that's just a thing you do.
It's just an explanation of.
Yes. Okay. Then towards middle of August, you are informed by where's he gone? By Sir Alec that you are he's arranged for you to travel to Egypt as previously discussed, and that you're leaving on a ship. It's scheduled to depart on the 26th of August, Monday the 26th of August, and you've got train passes for the 24th of August, and so you're given a little bit more time off, and told to pack up your kit and take what you need with you. Okay.
All right.
Now, several things occur in the last few days before you leave. Firstly, Nellie, you spot this man. Hang on a sec. I think that's right. Did a picture just turn up?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Horton. Mr. Houghton, sorry. Do you remember him?
Yes.
Yes. Is this from?
He's from the Bentham Club,
Yes.
and he turns up a number of times, and it appears from some whispers that start that he has been interrogating the prisoner that you brought back, and he is, you know, from your dealings with him, he is probably a lot less gentle
Yeah.
than you guys were.
Than what we were. Yeah.
Houghton was the one who recruited me, right?
No, I don't think any of. I can't remember. I can't remember that. Certainly, he's someone from Nellie's background. If he's in yours as well,
Okay.
please remind me. That it could be. I've used him.
I'm gonna
there
have
as
to
well.
look into our correspondence for that
Yes,
one.
yes. Does Archie know him as well? I can't remember, Chris.
I've met him a couple of times.
Mhm.
I know him.
No, never mind. It was DeVries who recruited me.
Okay. And the other thing that happens is before you get to leave, Nellie, you are also one evening. Bernard asks you to join him for a drink, and Bernard explains from the conversations you've had with him, he thinks you are both have the capability and interest to try and learn some of the magic that he is apt to use, and he therefore suggests, though he will not be going, and he's gathered you speak Latin and read and write Latin, more importantly. He therefore gives you a book called the Doctrina Jacques de Molay, which is Latin for the teachings of Jacques de Molay. Has that popped up?
Yes.
Did that pop up to everyone?
Yep.
hmm
Okay, I'm not sure that's going to stay, so I will make that and save that, and hopefully that will stay. And this is a book. It's a copy, but it's reputedly a copy of a book written in the 13th or very, very early 14th century, and is reputedly by Jacques de Molay, who was the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar, and also, according to the book, he was a sorcerer. And it's lists out some spells that Bernard says that should you wish, you can start to learn these. Okay.
Yeah, she seems very interested, and she thanks him for giving her this information and opportunity to learn.
And then did another one called, there's a little bit of information,
Yeah.
Jacques de Molay. The interesting thing is there's a legend about him that when he was burnt on a pyre, he cursed both the King Philip of France and Pope Clement that they would receive judgment within a year and a day, and they both died within the year. So the legend is he was a very powerful sorcerer.
He
Okay.
manifested.
Yeah. Okay. But so that takes place shortly before you leave, and then on the 24th, you're driven to a train station, and set off on a series of connecting trains that get you to Liverpool on the 24th, late on the 24th. And then you then knock around in, sorry, I just need to find something. You then have just over a day in Liverpool before you make your way onto the ship. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep.
Well, for
Sorry, you was asking, Chris.
I was just going to say, for all the time that we're doing this, I don't think I'm doing anything particularly unusual. I'm doing what officers do, assisting with training, filling out endless paperwork, and trying to make sure that all the equipment that we need. I expect at this time equipment is in very short supply, so make sure that sufficient ammunition is supplied to those of us who need it, and so forth. So that's sort of my activity. I'm not doing anything extraordinarily unusual in that period. I'll also take a week off and go to London.
Certainly.
I'll get up to no good, no doubt, with some of my fellow officer friends, probably there at the same time.
Yep, certainly. Nicola, you're also provided with paperwork for Kezia to allow her to travel. And what then follows is a nice little,
The sort of thing that I will be doing is taking that paperwork and throwing it back at the person that gave it to us and tell them to sort it out.
How do you mean?
I mean, I don't want him to have to worry about paperwork for Kezia. I will find. I will find.
No,
find out the right people.
this is paperwork for when you arrive in Suez. This is almost
Right,
like.
Was it a thing?
According to my research, yes.
Okay, fine. In that case, I'll find the appropriate person to do the paperwork and get them to do it. Not bother Nikola with it.
I may be wrong on that, but yeah.
No, fine. I didn't realise.
No, I'm not.
I assumed it.
Apparently, they brought in stuff about paperwork for dogs in the 20s, I think it is. Anyway, right. But yes, there. All that has been very thoroughly I's dotted and T's crossed, and then you leave from Liverpool on the 26th of August. And what then follows is a load of time on ship. And if this was an Indiana Jones film, there'd be a red line as you travelled as throughout this. And it's actually quite a long journey because the Mediterranean is too risky. What you're actually doing is going straight south, out to sea, then out in the Atlantic, then down around Cape Horn. You stop in Cape Town for 2 days, and then should arrive in Suez. Journey's about 45 to 50 days duration, including that stop. Now, you're traveling a convoy of ships, mostly carrying replacement soldiers and equipment stores, as you were saying, Chris. The convoy is harassed a couple of times on its first leg down to Cape Horn, a couple of times by U-boats, and though you have a few hairy occasions where everyone is told to come up on deck and to put on life jackets, your ship is not attacked, or sorry, not damaged rather. There are two ships are sunk at points, though your ship is not involved in rescuing any survivors, and one other ship has to leave the convoy to head for a port for repairs. So it is quite a hairy time. Now, during this, you have a lot of time to kill, and so you know that retraining option that you have as every time there's an experience break, you can do a free one of those if you wish. So this is where you can move something around. So you can move a stat point from one stat to another. You can change a talent from one to another. You can change a focus from one to another, or you can move a skill point from one skill to another. Does anyone want to do that?
I don't think so.
No, I'm thinking
Not
of that,
really.
actually.
Would it be worth? Would it make sense to be able to change one of my talents to be able to do that initiate into magic thing? Like,
That's
is that enough
entirely up to
time?
you. Entirely up to you. If you want to, if you want to keep your talents, you can just say that she's studying it and wait till you've got XP and then buy it.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll say she's got her nose in the book constantly.
Okay. Anyone else want to move anything around?
I don't think so. I think I'm fine where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, Bruce?
Don't. There was something I thought I wanted to do, but I can't think of it at the moment. So
Okay, if we need to
We can leave
backtrack
it.
and do it, then that's fine.
I think I may drop vehicles from 2 to 1 and increase my so either increase my survival or get specialization in hunting and survival.
No, you can't. You can't change a skill point to a
Okay.
focus.
Okay.
You can move a
Okay, in that case,
focus. You can move a
yeah, I think
focus.
no, because we need 2 people who can drive. I'll leave it.
You leave it. Okay.
I'll leave it.
Okay. So, you, as I say, you stop for a couple of days in Cape Town, and then eventually arrive in Suez on the 13th of October. A total of 48 days travel. Okay. And when you arriving in Suez is quite chaotic. Let me put the map of. I think it's that, isn't it?
What's our instructions for getting here?
Sorry, when you get there,
Yeah, have we got any specific? I mean, sorry.
to report to. Sorry, I may have not said this. Apologies. That could be my mistake. No. Quite possibly. I certainly haven't said it tonight. It's to report to the Section M Regional CO based in Cairo, who's a Major Elliot.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Now, I've just brought up the. So this is the map of Egypt that we're using, and Suez is where's Suez gone? Suez is there. Okay, and Cairo is there. Now, when you arrive, there's a vast number, the full convoy of at some point the Royal Navy ships don't come right into the port; they stay out in the Gulf, and essentially the ships take it in turns to moor up and unload, and your as you're actually your ship's turn comes, the soldiers are heading down off gangplanks, and there's they're all being formed up into the units, and you as a group of I mean, no one's really asked that many questions, but you're having a bit of a novelty on the ship, particularly Nellie, because you're not the only woman on the ship. There's a whole section sort of almost sort of kept isolated from a lot of certainly the other ranks men, but the others are generally almost entirely nurses and a few doctors. They're all generally in a medical background. But when you come to disembark, there's it's quite chaotic on the dock, but there is and all the infantry regiments that are coming off are generally sort of being organised into platoons and into companies, and then marched off and collecting kit and stuff like that. The 5 of you end up as a group, and as you start to disembark, you actually spot a young woman in military uniform, holding a sign that says Lieutenant Fanshawe, almost like a meet and greet.
Okay, right. I shall approach and introduce myself.
And that in itself is attracting some attention. That a lieutenant has almost like a personal someone there to meet him.
Well, I'd like it's completely normal and unexpected.
Yep, I thought you might. Right. And
I take note. Is it correctly spelt?
It's
good question.
It's spelt how it sounds.
Oh,
To be fair, the instructions probably came over a telegram or something, so
Yeah,
I'd guess
totally.
it might be what might be spelled.
I think it's spelt correct. Right. So this is the young lady who meets you. Yes, it's spelt correctly. Let me just. So has a new journal in the NPC section called North Africa turned up?
No.
Okay, right. So
No, but a picture has.
her picture has, right. It's this thing again where I can.
What?
Now,
There you go.
have you got just
Something
one?
has just appeared.
Have you got?
We've got
4.
You've got 4. I've
4.
done it again. Oh, bloody
It's all right.
hell.
We're not looking.
To be honest, they're all friendly. It's all fine, so it's not too much of a problem. Right. Right, and then can you see the thread anymore, or has it gone away?
Yeah, I can still see it with the same amount of.
Honestly, I can't see it in my right-hand bar. I can only see it as a.
Yeah, as you've.
I've still not managed to get my head round. Right. Okay. I'm not going to worry too much. I'll sort that out later. Right. Why's that turned up? That's okay. That's interesting. That's not supposed to happen. The way I've okay, they're turning up on a different way as well. Right. So you're collected by Lance Corporal Victoria Lambourne, Vicky Lambourne, who gives Lieutenant Fanshawe and Second Lieutenant Wyndham. Is that right? Is that Wyndham?
Yes.
Wyndham. Very proper salutes.
Dumb question. Sorry, Lieutenant Wyndham. Do you wear a military uniform or not?
Yes.
You do, right?
Well,
so
actually, we're in a different country now.
Yeah.
Is it going to cause issues? Actually, well, I suppose not. She's
no.
there
In actual fact, in the
so...
circumstances, I was thinking exactly that. I expect us all to be in uniform because we'll stand out by not being in uniform in the circumstances.
I think it's safe to say one of the things that possibly some of your companions on the ship have only just realised is you've been allowed a slightly larger luggage allowance than is normal, because you have had the opportunity to take some civilian clothes with you. So we don't need to go into great detail of it, but should you need at some point to dress in civilian clothes, I'm very happy to say that you've each got several sets of civilian clothes, and so that can vary from smart suits, dinner jackets to sort of mufti type, sort of going out in the outdoors, but not looking like a soldier type clothes.
Cool. Okay.
Perhaps instead of like common mechanics coveralls for me.
I mean, I'm quite sure that it's a competition between the two officers as to who has the larger collection of clothes.
I obviously have the largest.
Or I'm not
collection of
entirely
clothes.
sure that you have more
I
clothes
can
than
see that.
Lieutenant
Oh, I've
Fanshawe.
got my uniform, my spare uniform, my dress uniform, my dinner jackets, my evening tails. It goes on a bit.
Um,
I have several dresses. I'll check it.
right. And you're taken by. Sorry, she introduced herself as Lance Corporal Lambourne. And
Thank you.
sir, ma'am, and then she gives a nod to the rest. If you'd like to follow me, and I have a truck ready for us. And she takes you across to a vehicle park where there are lots of military vehicles, and she does indeed have a truck, which she starts to promptly undo the tailgate and allows you to put the luggage in. She is driving. Does anyone else wish to go in the front with her, or are you going in the back? Who's going where?
I'll go
Space for
in
two
front.
in the front.
I'll just assume that I'm getting in the front.
I'll get in the back. I'm a grunt, so I will get in the back. And since someone else is driving after.
Yeah, in the back with Kes, yeah.
I'll go wherever there's space.
Yeah. If there's space in the front, I'll go in the front.
Okay. I assume Nellie goes in the front and Sam goes in the back. Right. And she drives you to Cairo. And she takes you. Oh, hang on a sec.
Make conversation on the way, and inquire about the situation in. So try and just pick up, detail if there's anything specific that you want to tell us, but try and pick up on her general knowledge and feeling about what the situation is.
Right. So it's very clear. The moment you start talking to her, she is very, very friendly. She is very chatty. She's clearly highly intelligent. She is. Where's my notes gone? She studied ancient languages at Bristol University and then became an archaeologist. She is actually quite surprising that she's not been made an officer, but she is a lance corporal, and she's she also she's very clearly already a member of Section M, and she explains that she is Major Elliot's driver is her official role, but she winks at you as when she says that. Clearly, there is some pretense of roles going on.
Yeah.
And you, by the way, you've got that set up as the special raiding squadron or something. I think it was. That you've still got all of that
Special
Special
reconnaissance. Special,
yeah.
not the special raid.
SRG. Yep.
Special reconnaissance group, SRG. That was it. Special reconnaissance group.
SRS is the SAS rebrand.
Yes, that's the one that we're not being. Yeah. So she has that. She's clearly a member of Section M. You've got that cover, a set of uniforms and stuff, but now all that insignia put onto desert appropriate uniforms. Okay. She explains that.
Issue with desert uniforms. That's an incredible efficiency.
Oh yes, yeah. No, you sorted that out.
Point.
She's
incredible efficiency.
Yes. And she explains that Section M is in in Egypt is very small. There is only one other team. They are currently out on an operation, so she can't tell any more than that. But you will be meeting tomorrow Major Elliot. He's decided to give you the night before the night, the rest of the day and tonight, to settle into your accommodation and get a bit of the travel before you join in for breakfast the following day. Now, she explains that your accommodation, because this is Egypt and there's a lot of troops here, all the barracks are full of infantry and other various regiments and so on. And there's quite a lot of troops around at the present moment. There's a definite build-up of forces going on. So you guys have been... oh, sorry. Move to a different map. Is that visible?
It is not.
No, I've got no token on it. You need to go to the scene settings and set it to not switch
I
off token
always
vision.
do this. Always do this. It's which one is
So
it?
do I.
Sorry.
I see how it is. You sent us
Vision-
to the
in the vision-
void.
Permissions
In the
all
vision
players.
tab. No, in the vision. What?
Is that giving
In
it
a
to you?
s with the scene in the scene. Right click on the scene in the scenes tab, and
Okay.
go to settings.
Yep.
And then on the vision tab, uncheck player token. Sorry, uncheck token vision.
In what? Sorry, in configure.
In the vision tab.
There. You mean the light? No,
Yeah, lighting. Sorry.
lighting.
That's probably the one.
Untick token
Does it have-
vision.
There we
perfect.
go.
Okay, I'll get this right eventually. I'll eventually learn how to use Foundry. Right. So
Easy way.
here is a map of Cairo.
Very impressive.
Yep. Now, you are being housed in the top right corner in a hotel, no less. That is
Ooh,
called
swanky.
Oh my gosh.
Heliopolis House, which is
Ooh.
sorry.
Oh, I see it.
There's
Yep.
two. There's not the. This is the Heliopolis Palace. You're actually in Heliopolis House, which is not as posh and around the corner. It's still a very nice hotel, and it's essentially been taken over by what's been termed the odds and sods, which is all kinds of bits and pieces of the military who they need to find accommodation for, and they don't have a nice barrack, so they have requisitioned the entire hotel. Okay. Clearly, there is still quite a lot of the hotel is being well paid for this because it is still running just like a hotel. So there are porters and concierges and the whole works. And so it's for some of you this might be quite a bizarre situation to be staying in quite a posh hotel.
I warned the porter to be careful with handling my luggage. There are things that go boom in there.
Very good, sir. Maybe you should carry it, sir.
That might be for the best.
Now, there is, however, some very distinct guidance on who is in what room. Archie is given a room on his own. Nellie, you actually, interestingly, which is definitely slightly odd, are actually sharing a room with Lance Corporal Lambourne.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then Sam, Nikola, Casamir, and Kessia are all put in one room to share together. Okay.
I love that Casamir is included.
Well, she's got to sleep somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. And Vicky Lambourne explains that please come down for be ready for breakfast at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's a private dining room that you will be joining Major Elliot in. If you're at all unsure, I will be around and I will be joining the briefing, I'm sure. Okay. So, if you want to, you can have a night out in Cairo to start to get to know the city a bit. We won't play through that, but if you want to have gone out, it's a safe city in a time of war. There's no bombing of it. There's no attacks on it. So quite a lot of the soldiers here are on sort of like a 2-day pass or something like that. And so some parts of it get really quite rough and drunken, and the military police are breaking up brawls and other bits of problems and stuff like that.
My only instruction to everybody else is try not to get arrested. Other than that,
okay.
Yeah.
So Tom,
Yeah, Nicola's going to step out and actually try and find these market contacts that he's got from other market contacts from other places.
okay. Now is that a
It's actually
is it a talent? Black market contacts.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You can start to make some contacts. Yeah. That will just be automatic. Okay. Yeah. You start to make some contacts. That's. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I will be going over the motor pool
Okay.
and chatting with the mechanics there.
Okay. Are you being English with a London accent?
Yeah, I'll use the London accent.
Okay.
English.
Can you just give me a persuasion? It's actually a charm skill.
Okay.
So it's persuasion. I don't know which stat to make people like you. I suppose insight, because you're figuring out what's going to. Yeah.
Depends what kind of people you're trying to. But what would they be most impressed by? Would they be most impressed by someone who's physically strong, someone who's insightful, someone who's clever, someone who imposes their will on others? You know, just pick it according to the people he's talking to.
Okay. Let me explain what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah.
And that might inform.
Yes.
Mostly, what I want to know is any specific difficulties maintaining vehicles in sandy conditions.
Okay.
Right.
And
in desert conditions, because there are specific maintenance quirks to that.
Give me a persuasion reason roll, and
okay.
I'm gonna give you an extra dice to roll because I think your high level of engineering and mechanical knowledge, you clearly know what you're talking about. So I'll give you an extra dice to roll.
All right. 2 successes.
Okay. Right. Just remind me of something. This is a completely new scene, so I'm resetting the GM threat, and I believe it's 1 per player that I start with, and your party momentum starts at 0. So we'll start to. We're not into an actual proper scene yet, but there's no, you can't build up momentum yet. But yes, you start to make some friends. They seem to, they're quite interested in who you are, but someone coming in asking about what happens with this filter and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. How do you compensate for like sand getting into the intakes, and like how is the heat? How do part degradation because of heat load? Things like that.
One of the things you do start to realize, these guys are they're not very good on the preventative side, because they are the mechanics back at base who are fixing things that have been broken and brought back to them. That is definitely good knowledge, but the gap in their knowledge is anything preventative. Yeah,
Right.
they know some bits
Okay.
and pieces, but they're experts in fixing after it's broken rather than
Yeah.
stopping it breaking in
Yeah.
the first.
So they know how to fix the engine if the engine overheats because sand has gotten into the air, and
Yeah.
so not necessarily how to prevent the sand from getting into the intake.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Yep, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Anyone else to do, or do you want to just move on to meeting Major Elliot?
I'm just going to find the officer's mess or a club of interest, but I'm not going to try and do anything particular.
You get directed to one. Probably actually the simplest here is the main bar at the Heliopolis Palace
got it.
Hotel. So the hotel round the corner is definitely the place to be. But I mean, I don't know if you've actually spotted on the map, but there is a race course just to the north of you, and various other places around that might be of interest. But okay. Then the following, so the night passes uneventfully. Following morning, you're all down to breakfast, and you now meet Major Elliot, who,
The whole saluting thing.
Yep. Salute.
he sort of waves that away, and says quite bluntly, "We're in private. We don't need to worry about ranks too much here. Only when we're amongst the oi polloi do we need to worry about that. So,
Very
Lance,
good.
please call me Lance. It's quite an informal ship here, and I'm glad to have another team down here. I'm sure I don't have anything currently for you, but I'm sure that we'll start to find something for you to do. Certainly, Sir Alec is starting to expand the operations and give put more focus on this region. Okay.
Hey, Andy,
Yep.
real quick. I think I briefly disconnected there, so you might need to check the camera's positioning on the overlay.
No, it's all fine.
Okay, so it wasn't okay. My internet didn't go down long enough for that to happen. Good. Okay.
Or if
Excellent.
it did, it's clicked back into the right place when you've rejoined.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the.
One of the two. Yeah. Okay. And Major Elliot, Lance says, I'm very pleased to have you here. There is another team. They're out on a little mission at the moment up country. So for the moment, please just start to acclimatise. You'll find it's very much a get up early, do what you need to do in the morning, hide from the sun, and then come back out once the day starts to cool down. Though the British Army obviously doesn't run like that, but start to get to know the city, and as soon as I have something mission-wise for you, I shall send you out on some operations. Okay.
Okay.